Hi everyone, welcome back to this channel of crafting, crochet and knitting. My name is Nikki and welcome to my little yarniverse. So hello, welcome if you're new, welcome back if you're a returning viewer. Sorry again that I am sporadic in my posting of videos. I am trying my best, but it has been an absolutely chaotic couple of months. So we are currently in December, so it is the chaos of Christmas. However, the fact that I'm recording this in December can give you some indication about how chaotic the last few months have been, because what I'm showing you today is from a yarn show that I went to in Bakewell in October. So it's taken me that long to be able to sit down and record things. We are in a different location today because the weather is truly horrible and this is the only place I can get remotely decent lighting. I'm rushing slightly because I want to get the yarn on display before the sun goes down, because if the sun goes down, that's it, you're just not going to be able to see the yarn very well. My advent videos have been an indication of how bad my lighting situation is. I'm going to have to do a whole different video on the yarn advent calendar so you can see that in proper colour, because it's just not coming out properly in the shorts, but I will re-record or do something. But yeah, for now, let's focus on the Bakewell yarn. I have already put together some footage from the day. I was able to go around a few of the vendors and ask if I was able to shoot some footage of what they had on display, just a little bit here and there. So before I show you the yarn, I'm just going to roll that footage so you can see what the event was like. So yeah, that was my very first yarn show over in Bakewell. I just had a really amazing day. I will say, because I think it's important to be, honest about mental health, mental well-being, that I did find it a little bit overwhelming. I'm an extroverted person, so chatting to people chatting to some of the stall holders, that wasn't so much my issue, but just the quantity of crowd meant it was quite noisy. I'm not someone who likes to be overcrowded. I like quite a lot of space. I'm not comfortable in crowds, and it made me feel like quite on edge and quite anxious. But overall, like, even that didn't diminish the day for me, just because the excitement of my first yarn show, the amazing yarn that was available, that was just something that I really held on to, and that kind of kept me going through the day. And I did go with my husband, so, you know, every time that I needed a break, we just came outside, we sat down, there was a cafe nearby at the venue, so we just had a drink and we just took a breather, and we just kind of decided that, like, we had entry all day, and like you could see some people who were going quickly doing their shop and then kind of leaving like an hour or two later. We were kind of like, no, we made a day trip of this, we don't have to rush back for anything, so let us just like go in, go round first, see where everything is, then come out, take a breather, go back in and like target some things that we, you know, that I target some things that I really liked, and like try and get to those vendors and get something from them, and then come out, have a break, and then go back and kind of just do it piecemeal like that. So yeah, let's get on to the yarn, because that's what you're all here for, right? I got a lot. It was always the plan to get a lot. I had saved to kind of compensate for this, and it was, yeah, always my intention. So the first thing that I bought, if I remember rightly, was from the Yarn Badger, and it was this autumnal sock set. Now, I mean, I don't know, I might make socks, I'm not sure, but I might just keep the mini for something else and then use the yarn for something else, I don't know. I hope it's coming out okay lighting wise, I think so. Yeah, so there's like beautiful avocado greens, you know, going through the yellowy gold and into the sort of more coppery coloured oranges there. This is called Leaf Collecting. It is a 25% nylon, 75% merino, 25% nylon blend. It threw me there because the 75 isn't actually on the ticket. It's just superwash merino and then 25% nylon. It's called Leaf Collecting. It is so actually that was another helpful thing about this. So actually it's split up here into 2 skeins. So it's ready for doing socks with, 2 50-gram skeins and a 20-gram mini to go with it. So yeah, that was really exciting. That was my first purchase, and then the day continued. I can't remember the rest of the order that I bought these things in, so I'm just going to grab stuff out of my bag as I stumble across it. What we have here are 3 yarns that I bought from a place called the Crafty Bird. Try and get the tickets all out the front. So this is the Crafty Bird, and she had loads of these really rich tones that I quite enjoy, these rich autumnal tones, so I was really gravitating towards that stall. So 3 different colourways here. So this one is Plum Pie. Now these are all 100% superwash merino, so all merino. These are not like the typical sock blend. So Plum Pie, 100 grams, so you can see where it's getting its name from in the top of the skein there, but then it's also got these beautiful dark blues in it and slightly golden tones as well at the bottom there. So that was Plum Pie. Now this is similar to, but not the same as the next one. The next one is a little bit lighter, a little bit less of the purple and a bit more of the burgundy and the gold. So this is Sweater Weather, and again, superwash merino. All her bases, well, all the ones that I was looking at in terms of like fingering weight, were all superwash merino. So this is Sweater Weather. So a lot more of the sort of the gold colouring, little hints of green coming through where it has come out with the blue. It's a little bit more green. I don't think there was a lot of green, if any. A little bit where it blended in the Plum Pie, but otherwise not really. And then this beautiful, now that's coming out quite pink, but actually that's a lot more kind of carmine-y, like not a claret, like not dark enough to be a claret, and a little bit pinkier, but it's still in that sort of burgundy space. So really pretty, beautiful turquoise colour at the bottom there as well. Yeah, and like I said, just a bit more actual green in it. So that was slightly different, slightly less of the purple, slightly more of the autumnals. And the next one was very different. This was called Marigold Spice. Again, superwash merino, and this is the blue and the gold. Now, I kind of like that the gold is sort of like a little bit more orangey, like maybe it can pass for a sort of a bronze, because this would be the true Ravenclaw colours. None of this blue and silver, blue and bronze. So we've got a few different blue shades in here. I mean, that's a very bronzy sort of colour at the top where it's actually mixed into the blue. But we've got a few sort of more tealy ones and a few more navy ones. And I really like this. It's kind of giving me vibes of the Starry Night painting. And at the same time, like the Ravenclaw, so kind of a little bit pop culture, a little bit more traditional art, but I do quite like that one as well. So I got those, and this was very much the point in the show where I was like, I'm going around and picking out like really pretty colours, but not actually picking out any bases to go with them, to kind of like accent them or anything like that. So what I did at another stall that I went to is actually picked up some matching colours. Now for some reason all the tags have popped off, but these next ones are from Peak District Yarn. So hand-dyed yarns, and we have got two colours. We've got Ocean, which is they're just their normal tonal, and they are 80% merino, 20% nylon. So you can kind of see where it gets the name. It's kind of a emeraldy, tealy kind of blue, not just a blue. So that's quite nice. And I got those because it goes really nicely with this other one that I got, which I actually got first. I went back for the other two. But this one is called Wardlow Well Dressing. I think there's a local story behind that. But I picked this up, and you can see why. It's this beautiful autumnal toning that I love again. It's got some burgundies, like quite browny burgundies in it, so kind of more the brown side than the pink side. And then it does have some browns, like up here, flecked in with some teal, flecked in with some beautiful golden yellows, like a lot lighter. And then the sort of golden, more beiges where the reds have been allowed to not seep in as much. But it's because of those flecks of the tealy blue that this goes really, really nicely together. In fact, if I put them like that instead. So my hope is that I'll be able to make something with these that is kind of accented by the variegated yarn, and that it's just set off by the teal solid colour there. So that's those. We're still going. And also realising again that I was picking up a lot of colourful yarns, and I needed maybe a few more sort of colourwork style ones. Oh, one moment. My battery is going, so I better make this quick. So is the light, so you know. What was I saying? I was saying that I wanted to get a few more solid colours. I might put something colourful in with the solid colours, or I might just keep the solid colours by themselves and do something colour work with it, but I'm showing it already. These are from Ducky Darlings, and I have got their Mocha, Copper Kettle and Maple colours. Now these are merino, yak and nylon. I don't have, oh no, I do have percentages. They are 70% merino, 20% yak and 10% nylon. So really, really love these colours too. Ducky Darlings, I have come across the yarn before. I haven't worked with it yet, but I do have some other Ducky Darlings in my stash. And again, this shows you how chaotic things have been, because I bought that first back in summer when I was doing the yarn crawl, and I still haven't made that video. So I'm really, really behind. I will wait for some good weather though before I show those on camera, because I don't really want to have to do this again where I'm trying to struggle for the light. I'm already losing it where this is concerned. If I hold it closer though, I think it's getting enough light scattering off the wall to get a true representation of this Maybe it's a little bit darker in real life, but that's what they look like. They're really nice. They do feel different actually from the superwash merinos that I have as well, from the other stalls. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that goes. So I'm just going to pop some of these away, back in the bag for now, and then I'm going to grab the final skein in this bag and show you that one. So that goes the crafty bird. You can see already like quite how much yarn I've got, a little bit of a splurge. So I went to a stall that was called And Knit, and when I was there I saw loads of autumnal things again, and I thought, oh yeah, I could get that, and then I thought, actually hang on a minute, my bag is full of autumnal shades. Like those, when I say autumnal shades, those like, you know, colour changing, leaf changing colours, the reds, the golds, that kind of thing. So I actually saw instead in And Knit a different colour, and it is a 70% superwash merino, a 20% yak, and a 10% nylon. And it looks like, oh, I can't read what it's called. Annie Ball? Maybe Annie Ball is the colourway, I'm not sure. I'm really sorry. I might have to go and like try and find it on the website. But I went for green. So something a little bit different. I do wear green. I don't wear it super often. I do like to wear it. It's just that I haven't filled my wardrobe with it, because like usually it's those autumnal colour changing golds, burgundies, plums, that is what gives me the most joy. But I do like a nice green as well. And I kind of, when I saw this, I thought how difficult sometimes it is to find a green that kind of looks quite natural rather than like really super synthetic. And this, I hope it's coming through on the camera, but it's a really lovely natural kind of green. It sort of does make me think of, you know, grass in a field, and yeah, just I thought, yeah, I'll get that one for a change. So it's the one like different skein that I bought. So that is all the yarn in skeins. Hello, editing Nikki here, popping in because I forgot to mention something in my previous video attempts. So as I was sorting through it, I realised that there was a particular clip that I went and put music over the top of that I was intending to talk about. So one vendor that we visited on the day, Ducky Darlings, I bought some yarn off of them, but they were also selling sock tubes. So this is where they'd used a knitting machine to crank up a skein into just one long tube, and then you could buy that tube and you could cut into it to add cuffs and heels and toes and make socks. But they had the machine there on the day with them, and it was really interesting. So it was a proper hefty, heavy duty metal knitting machine, so not a sort of mainstream plastic one that you can get quite easily these days, but something about it being metal and quite hefty, kind of, you could see how it was working as you were cranking, so you could see how the pegs were moving, and it was all really interesting to watch. And I put a little clip in the video, but we were chatting to the guy who was showing it to us, and he actually also said that when you're knitting up socks like that on a machine, you can change tension. And this was very curious, because I was thinking, how do you change tension? So what he did was he pinched the yarn that was feeding into the machine, and as he was cranking, you could see it right in front of your eyes, sort of changing from being a fairly, not very loose, but kind of a fairly relaxed tension. And then as he pinched it, it got tighter, and you got way more rows per inch. And that was really interesting to watch. So if you get a chance to play with any of this, in, you know, this, it's not industrial, how would you put it, like just kind of old school, like really mechanical, like really well put together equipment, then do, because it was very fascinating, very easy to understand how the machine was working, not hidden behind the plastic coatings and stuff that makes it marketable. So really interesting, highly encourage it, and thank you to Ducky Darlings for demonstrating. I did get some other things, so really hope that I can keep the light. I'm only going to be able to show you one of these because I'm already using the other, but I did get a couple of these. So these are holders with two poppers strategically placed, and they are placed so that when you stick your double pointed needles in them, and you've got some socks on your double pointed needles, you can fold them up and then place it in, and the sock has enough space to come out between the poppers, but it will keep it in place. So it's an alternative to using holders, just needle holders. And I think it works when you're using like four different needles. It's a little bit easier to put them in one of these than it is to find a stopper for all of them. This is a very autumnal, again, there was a theme with hedgehogs and leaves and little squirrels, and now is it this one or is it the other one? I think it was the other one. The other one had a really cute like little bunny like poking out from behind a pumpkin or something, but this one has got a little bird, mushrooms. So yeah, really like that one. I will insert a picture of the other one later. I don't think I'm going to be able to dig it out of the project bag with enough time to catch it in the light. The other things that I got, let's do these ones first. So I got some stitch markers, and I got these from Lorette Crafts UK. I saw these, and again, like I say, there is a theme. We've got here just some little laser cut stitch markers, little hedgehog, little acorn, maple leaf, sweater, and a pumpkin. And what was really, really good is that when you bought from them, they actually had also laser cut a simple little stitch marker that had the event on it. Bakewell 23. So the Bakewell Wool Gathering 2023, and it's got a little Bakewell tart with a bite taken out of it on. So I was really glad of that, because I've seen sometimes when people go on like big yarn crawl events in the States that the different shops have like personalised like little items, sometimes stitch markers, and sometimes other things for the event that people can kind of collect as like a memento that they went on it. And as this was my first yarn show, I'm really happy that I have this little memento. So I got those, and the other things I got were from Ducky Darlings. I could not resist. I don't know when I'm going to use it, but I'm going to use it. There was some pin badges, and there's this one here with yarn and knitting needles, and it's called Knit Happens. So a little bit sassy. I do love that. I've kind of been wanting a really nice like pin badge, yarn pin badge. So it's got balls of yarn, and actually I don't think you'll be able to see it because of the glare on the packaging, but there are also little stars. Oh no, maybe you can. Can you see that? Little stars. So for Nikki's Yarniverse, that felt very, very suitable. And the other one that I got because it's a little bit close to my heart. I have in previous videos occasionally shown our sweet adorable rabbits, and we've had a horrible year, and part of what has made that year horrible is that we did lose both of them, and they were adorable white lop-eared rabbits with so much personality, such a misunderstood creature, but they were selling a rabbit pin badge as well, and so I had to get it. So that's my little thing for me. So that was all of the stitch markery, the little notionsy things that I got, and there is more. It keeps going. Like I say, I did splurge, I did save up for this. One of the things that I wanted to get from this yarn show was to do with a slightly different yarn craft, and that would be one of these. Now, does anyone recognise it? Let me know in the chat if you do know what this is. So I'm about to spoil it. This is a drop spindle. So we've got a little notch here that the yarn would sit. Oh, where is it? There. That the yarn would sit in, and then it would wrap around here, and then you would work with it and draft from this end, and it would be hanging down, and you would use that to spin. And then you would use it to kind of like pre-spin it, and then you can then you would draft, and it would then, the spin would then move into what you drafted in order to make it. I will do an actual like demonstration video at some point. I'm probably not going to put it in this one because we've already got a lot happening in this one, and I'm still running out of camera battery. So I'll very quickly show you that I went and spoke to a place called Adelaide Walker, and they did a drop spindle kit. So that's where I got my spindle from, and it also came with some already carded merino wool, Shetland Mooret, Grey Jacob, and white blue faced Leicester wool. So lots of different examples, and there's a explanation in here about them and about how to work with it, and that was really interesting to me, because she was saying about the person I spoke to was saying about the different fibres will behave in different ways. So merino is really silky, and so can sometimes be quite hard to spin. The Shetland is quite, it's supposed, I think, to be one of the sort of nice ones for a beginner, because it has got enough stick to it that it will hold itself together, but it's also not so sticky that it's harder to work with. I think that I think the Jacob maybe might have been easy as well, and the loose face Leicester might have been a little bit more sticky. I can't remember now exactly what she said. I've got it written down somewhere, thankfully, though. And so in here was a bunch of wool. So I think that's some of the, that might be the Grey Jacob. Is that the Grey Jacob, or is that the Shetland? Oh, there's so much of it. That's the Grey Jacob, actually, I think, and I've been working with that one. I think that must be the Shetland. So the Jacob is okay. I've been working with it. I've just pulled a bit off and been making some strands. You have a little piece of wool that just helps you to get things going. So I've ended up not putting the spindle back in the kit because it's now like all the wool's bounced and it's taken up all the space. But whilst I was there, I did buy some extra stuff. So this was, I think, extra merino, but this was a bamboo and merino blend that I bought from the same place, and again with the autumnal theme. So we've got sort of a blacker, really, it's either a really dark navy or it is actually a black. We've got some orange and we've got some pinky burgundy in there, so I think that will make a really nice autumnal colour when that's worked with. There's also just a hint of green in there too. So that is a merino bamboo blend. I have no intention of working with that until I am far more experienced and I've tried the merino. But it was exciting. And then, now I'm not going to be able to remember the shop I got this from, but I did get it on the recording, so I'll try and put the shop name up here. This is a beautiful plum coloured set of, I want to say that this was Shetland, but again I've got it written down somewhere, so I'll put it up. If it's not Shetland, I'll put it up to the side there, or if I can't remember, I'll just put question marks everywhere. But this was really nice, just a nice solid colour, something to work with. Whatever it was, I was told that this would be easy for a beginner to work with, so that was kind of on my list of great, I will be able to work that quite quickly so I can have a go at the undyed fleeces, and then when I'm happy with it I can move on and try and make some out of the dyed fleece, and then I can try the next undyed and of a different material and keep going that way. And then this, which was from Weave Knit It, and this is hand dyed Jacob, and again typical, we've got burgundy, pinky colours there, and then this is actually like a navy blue. I think I'm losing the light though because it's not very easy to see it when I'm even in the room, so it's probably not going to be very much easier to see on camera. Just a little hint of teal in there every now and then as well, so I will use that when I've practiced with the Jacob. And the last thing I want to quickly show you before my camera completely dies in its battery is my first few attempts at spinning. So this was my very first attempt. This was quite a sticky yarn to work with, and so you can see some of the, I think they called it artistic yarn. So you can see where the thickness is not well managed. You can see quite a few lumps and bumps as we went through it, but as I got better, it's a bit more consistent towards the end there. So that was my very first attempt. That was what how the lady showed me how to do it. And then when I got home, I had just a little go with what I believe was the Shetland, no, not the Shetland, the Grey Jacob. So I've started with the Jacob, just a teeny little bit, like 30 centimetres, just to have a go. and that's looking a lot better, I think. I'm quite proud of that one. And after I'd made that, I was like, okay, well, maybe let's try and make something longer. So here I've actually got a little teeny tiny, like 3 grams, I think, skein, and so actually it's fairly consistent. I'm quite happy with that. And I just sat in my grandpa's kitchen whilst we were chatting and just drafting and spinning and drafting and spinning, and it was really nice. And I'm quite proud of this one. So this is just like my little experimenting with it. I would love to be able to add some more yarn next time. So I think like what I'll do is the next time I try and have a go, I'll actually try to make as long a piece as I can. But for now, my little 3 gram, I'm really pleased with. So that is everything that I have to show you from the Bakewell Wool Gathering. I obviously have still got a lot of hand-dyed yarn that I have bought from semi-local, like within a day trip kind of levels of local, where we've gone on day trips, and specifically whilst we've been somewhere and exploring somewhere new, we've gone and popped into a yarn shop there that is selling hand-dyed yarn. Sometimes that is local to them, which is really nice. It's supporting local people, it's supporting the local trade there. So yeah, I've become quite a fan of going to a bricks and mortar store and actually like trying to support someone that way. I have loads of yarn from that, and that is going to have to wait for another video because my camera battery is literally about to die. But I'm going to go and edit this one for Bakewell, and hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully you are enjoying the Christmas content I'm putting out, just the shorts, just a little something every day. I'm hoping to do a vlogmas at some point, but as I said, it's a very, very chaotic Christmas, so we will see. But otherwise, I hope you're having a lovely year, and I will see you soon. Bye everyone.